Shavua Tov. We are
Shavua
in the
Tov.
portion Behar, Bechukotai. I have my colleague, my friend here, Rabbi Mordechai Ziv. Before we
Yeah,
start,
we got to tell him that it's not by coincidence that Behar Bechukotai was still on fire from Maron Mountain. Bahar's mountain was still on fire from the mountain that we had almost 1 million people going back and forth in 24 hours on this little mountain across from us called Mount Maron, which is the source of Kabbalah.
yeah, the source of the inner light. So, if you don't mind, Mordechai, I'll talk about another light, laughing a bit.
Okay.
I don't know if it's so funny. I'll try to say a joke in Hebrew and English. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. There was like a Jew that lives next to a non-Jew. And one time, the Jew asking the non-Jew, how's life? Say, don't ask, like, I don't see any profit in my money. I find here, find there, like, I don't know, things are a bit hard. So the Jewish person telling him, you see what I have on my door? Say, what's that? That's a mezuzah. That will give you blessing.
Wow.
So, why, are you serious? Say yes. Anyway, the non-Jew decide to put this mezuzah that everyone kisses. After a week time, they meet again. So the Jew's telling him, so tell me, what's going on in your life? Say, do you mind taking the mezuzah off? Say, why? Say, look, every 2 hours, someone knocking at my door looking for charity. It was better where I wasn't before.
Leave me alone! Leave me alone!
So, anyway, this portion of the week,
That's a great one.
Behar Bechukotai. Behar means in the mountain, in Mount Sinai, God gave us His laws. Laws, to understand, the Torah is divided to things that we can understand and do, it's coming easy. Things that they are not too easy, meaning to understand, but we do understand why God commands.
We could understand after they're explained to us.
Exactly,
Yeah.
that's the right way.
Yeah.
And then there is laws. Laws, it's hard to work with.
Statutes.
Statutes,
Yeah.
very hard to...
Chukim are statutes that you transcend your understanding. Even King Solomon couldn't understand the one statute that was the red cow, because he understood everyone, but he couldn't understand one, and we can't understand any of them. So for us, it's a tremendous challenge, but it's a very high light that comes into the world.
So how a person supposed to deal with that? There's an expression in Hebrew, it goes a bit different in English, Kabbalat Ol. Kabbalat Ol mean accepting the
Yoke of heaven.
Yolk of heaven and not yolk of the egg, yeah? All right.
No yachts and no yachts.
So, basically,
The kingship of heaven. That the kingship of heaven should be something that we receive upon ourselves, like when a Jew says Shema Yisrael, they receive the kingship of heaven upon themselves.
Yes. Let's look what's going on in this portion. God starting with the Shemitah. Shemitah means
The
that
sabbatical year.
sabbatical year.
Yeah.
So mean when you entering the land, when you enter Israel, you will work for 6 years, and then you will have the 7th year resting.
That's
And
a
then-
Jewish formula.
Absolutely.
We have it every week. 6 days we work, and the 7th day we rest.
We
That's
rest.
it.
So
Sabbatical.
God decided to talk about the Shemitah and then the Yovel. What is the Yovel? How do you say Yovel in
The
English?
Jubilee year.
A Jubilee year, meaning ever
50th year.
the 50th year, every 7th sabbatical years, you have the 50 years, and then God is talking about...
You have 7 sabbatical years, then the year
49.
after is the Jubilee year.
Yes.
Is the 50th year.
And well, God give us all the restriction, all the laws that goes with the land, and if you have a slave, what you're supposed to do with that. And then in Bechukotai, the second portion, God is saying, if you will walk
In my statutes,
in my statutes, you will see blessing. Now, let's look at those two words, Behar, Bechukotai. God is choosing Mount Sinai. Why? Because Mount Sinai was modest out of the old mountains. When we're looking at the
It wasn't the
prophet,
tallest, and it wasn't the smallest.
yes,
It was in
average,
between that
in between.
could be a level of humility for a person to understand.
Here I want to reach a certain understanding how a Jew is supposed to walk on earth. And it's within those words, Behar, in the mountain, Bechukotai, in my statutes. So we see that the prophet Moses, Moshe, had so many attributes and qualifications and like good things within him, but the Torah is mentioning how humble he was comparison to the whole men upon earth. Why? It's trying to tell us that even though you're realizing that you have so many good traits, so many talents, allow yourself to be modest. How a person can be modest? By reminding himself that all that he received is actually he was
It's a
born with it.
present.
It's a present
It's a
from above.
present from God.
Another little insight that is important, and we call it to a certain extent, it's really refined, idol worshipping. What? When a person is trying so hard and he thinks that his effort will bring him blessing. No. I've seen so many people working hard in their life, yet they haven't seen blessing. The blessing coming from above, from Hashem. And when you're remembering it, that you have all those talents and you're putting all those effort, but you remember to go in his statutes, because that's how the blessing will come, that's as well helping you to maintain a beautiful level. That's a way how a Jew's supposed to walk. With all your talents, that's Behar. God wants you to reach your mountain. Behar, it's the mountain. He wants you to reach your divine, your Mount Sinai, to reach your qualities and to reveal your potential. But he as well wants you to be modest. This is a very fine border to walk in.
A fine line, right, to walk between. But it's very interesting what Ayal's saying, because really God gave us formulas. He gave us 6 days you work, and on the 7th day you rest. You make money, $100, $90 you keep, $10 you give to charity, to tzedakah. So all the blessings have formulas and vessels for the blessings to come down in. But you look at what the most important thing is, to be a role model like Moshe, that to show people that this is what God wants. To walk in His statutes means that we're not on an ego trip. We're not looking to gain, to be number one celebrity, in the top 40 in Forbes Business Week. We're looking to be somebody that people can look up to and see that this is a quality human being, and that we have very special qualities that we portray within ourselves.
Amen. So it's interesting to see the next topic I would like to share. It's God is warning us not to take interest. Meaning, when I borrow money out of someone, no interest, and when I give someone a loan with no interest. The Torah is mentioning to the extent that when the Torah is saying do not take ribit, interest, ribit, it says as well, I am your God, the one that took you out of Egypt to be your God. Now, that's really, again, something that we suppose to walk in His statutes, meaning in His laws. Laws meaning things that you sometimes cannot understand. With interest, something is really funny happening sometimes in our inner journey, in our mind. Wait, I have money? I gave someone this money? I worked for this money in the past? Now, if this person wants to enjoy the money I can give him, pay for it. Now, the Torah is going to this coming very interesting extent, saying, all that accept interest, meaning not to do interest, accepting the yoke. The one that do not accept interest, like he wants to do repeat, doesn't accept the yoke. Now, the question is,
That's very interesting, when you think about it, because what happens is that a person who, the basis of Jewish life has always been the free loan societies. The free loan societies is the foundation of Jewish life, because that sets us apart from everybody. It says that when you need something, you get what you need, and you don't have to pay extra for it, because we're all family. We're all one family. And when you lend your brother and your sister money, you don't take interest from them. God says that, yes, you receive a higher benefit, because then you understand that this is accepting the yoke of heaven upon yourself, because you realize that we're not, whatever money we get and whatever money we earn only comes from God anyway, so we don't need to ask from somebody else more money, because God is giving us anyway exactly what we're supposed to earn.
beautiful. So we'll try to refine now the question that the Lubavitcher Rebbe brings in one of his talk. Why actually these commandments of the commandment of repeat, of interest, being chosen to represent accepting the yoke of heaven? One. Two, why this commandment out of all commandments, what is its uniqueness? To the extent that when you're doing this mitzvah, meaning you do give money to someone with no interest, they are actually reflecting the essence of your bond with the one, with your creator. Let's see. What is actually interest? Interest mean, its essence mean, doing profit with no effort. Doing profit.
Making profit.
Thank you. Making profit with no.
He's not making. It's okay.
With no effort, meaning you're making profit out of the effort of someone else. Why? Because once this money you borrowed it to someone, you gave it as an loan, it's not yours anymore. But your mind can tell you, wait, I was working hard then. That was in the past. It's not the present. And one of the most important, like, I would say, insight or understanding within the Torah, that there is only the present, the here and now. Do not live in your past or in your future. You can learn from your past. You can create a present for a better future. So you cannot enjoy something without hard work. And that is well referred to the milah, if you walk in my statutes. Walk meaning making an effort. Statutes, it's chok. Chok in Hebrew means chakika, engraving. Yeah, engraving. When you engrave something, you make a strong effort. God created this world
You have
in
to
a
keep
way.
walking. It means you have to keep pursuing and you have to go forward.
Exactly. You need to make effort within the commandments, within those laws. Then you will see profit, not just on the physical
And you see
aspect
the blessing
as well in this,
you see the blessing
on the
that
spiritual
comes with
level.
it, yes.
Absolutely. So basically, the one that borrow money to someone with an interest,
Lends money.
lends money to someone. So actually, he's enjoying something that is not his. This money is already with this other person, and he's making effort to generate this money. Now, it's not like in a business. In a business, if you invest money and you see money coming out of it because you're enjoying right now, it's your thing.
And you get
it's
a profit from it.
You get a profit from it.
Exactly. It's not.
But a money that you lend someone, money, it's not yours anymore.
It's a deep level of faith that a person has in this, very much.
This thing, the Lubavitcher Rebbe explaining that this thing, like symbolizing this, do not lend money by doing a profit interest on it. It symbolizing the Avodat Hashem. Why? God created His world in a way that any kind of prosperity and blessing will come through hard work and effort.
And through God's blessing.
Absolutely.
right?
Not just on the physical aspect, but as well in the spiritual. For example, if you decided something within yourself, you took a decision, you challenge yourself for something, ask yourself, this target, this challenge that I challenged myself with, what is it that I do every day in order to maintain it? It's like it's something that be consistent with your effort. That's how you would say.
You have to you have to be consistent and to also to be though driven, to be driven that you have to continue to push yourself to reach and
And
reach. You can be happy with who you are but never satisfied.
how you create this drive, how you can be driven. In a Jew life, we have what's called Kriyat Shema. The Lubavitcher Rebbe, in his Kriyat Shema, we see many stories on it, and right now it's not the time because I want to make those like topics clean and short. We can see that the Lubavitcher Rebbe is telling to his secretaries, I'm always asking myself, what I've did today, is there something I can do better? What was worth investing into, and what wasn't? And then I'm having a better day, and then I'm working within the mitzvot themselves. So God determined in His world that all prosperity will come through a hard work. So, and that's the idea of all the commandments. A person need to do constant good things in order to achieve any kind of a spiritual elevation. Yes.
That's why we, at the end of each day, we make a spiritual inventory. And you know the famous story that
Inventory, yeah?
that the one of the great Hasidim went to this inn. He stayed and he asked if he could spend the night, and they set him in bed. They gave him a room, and he heard that after he went up much later, that the innkeeper's wife came in and said, Shlomo, he said, it's time to close the inn. And he said, but I have to go through the ledger, I have to look at the books. And so, but really what was the book? The book was the book of his deeds for the day and what he did. And with each tear that he shed during Shema, he wiped out each one, and he only went to sleep before he erased all of his things that were not desirable, and then he made decisions to make all these things to be more desirable than the next day.
That's amazing insight you can take out of this story. Well, maybe I'll really put a little notebook next to my bed with at least 2-3 things to write something.
Start with one.
One, yes.
One. Let's start with one. Three is
that's,
already.
yes.
3 may take us till 3 in the morning, but we gotta. One is okay.
Now, out of this idea, a Jew can ask himself, or one that thing can ask himself, wait, if you're telling me that God, my creator, my Father in the sky, the essence of the light is love, is good, is kindness. So why don't bring us everything, like easy coming? Why do I need to work hard? Let me rest. Like having Shabbos all day.
Club Med, let's go to Club Med,
yes.
right?
Well, the answer is on the contrary. You need to look at this way. Because God knows you so well. What He knows you so well. Have you ever received something that you haven't worked hard for Him? Think about if suddenly you need to be a person that go and ask for money. There's a shame in it. Why? Because you didn't work for this money. There's something within our mechanism, within our neshama, that when it receives something for free, we really cannot enjoy it. And don't tell me story.
We don't value it the same way.
Exactly. We do not value it at all. So, on the contrary, God, even though He's the essence of love and kindness, He knew that in order for you will appreciate things only if it will come through a hard work,
effort,
and through an effort, and not like as a present without
not a freebie.
Working hard. How?
Yeah, not a freebie. We say.
Not a freebie?
A freebie,
not
like
a freebie.
Free,
Great, love it. So now we can answer the second question. We understand why this mitzvah been chosen to reflect
Represent.
represent
All the mitzvahs, really, and especially the category
this
of the statutes.
of the statutes as like accepting the yoke of heaven, and then not doing it. We said not doing it damage this essence, this bond between you and the Creator. This commandment out of all being represented to reflect something in this bond with Hashem. And why is that? Because when a person is being mindful and being aware not to take interest and not to borrow money, to take money within interest, he's reflecting the will of the Creator, that everything will come to this world, any kind of blessing or prosperity, through hard work and through an effort. And that's the idea of all the commandments.
Exactly what he needs. In other words, Rosh Hashanah, we get the blessing for the whole year, exactly what we're supposed to make. So if you work 40 hours a week, you get the blessing as long as you do it with the formula that God gives you. If you work 70 hours a week, it doesn't mean you're going to make more money. It means you're gonna work more, but you may be forfeiting a Torah class or a prayer with a minyan in the synagogue, or just quality time at home with your children or your family to be able to do something positive to show your faith and your trust in God.
So when you're not accepting the interest, by that you actually contradicting the whole idea of the Torah and mitzvot, that all prosperity will come through an effort. That's why it said that this mitzvah, out of all other mitzvot, doing it or not doing it is reflection of this bond between you and Hashem. That's why all that is doing interest, accepting above himself the yoke of heaven, and hopefully we'll see the Mashiach.
Or everybody that refrains from interest.
Everyone that refrains of interest. Yeah.
Right, because we're going to start a new business here.
Yes.
The Jewish mafia here.
Yes. Thank you very much for being with us. We'll see you in the next portion.
Have a wonderful Shabbos, and we're waiting to see you in Tzfat. You know, me and Ayah, we're waiting to host you here at Ascent. That's it, big time.
We're waiting, and be in touch with our site, www.myascent.org, and see our coming programs.
Okay.